This video, I'm going to be talking about creating your routine and really maximizing your productivity. I've talked about in some of my other videos about the idea that you can only really do about 4 to 6 hours of focused work every day. But I've also told you that you need to work your fucking ass off and work like 12 to 14 hour days, sometimes going through that grind period. So how do those two things balance out? How did I do this in my life? And how can you succeed when you've got these two conflicting or seemingly conflicting ideas? I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man, how to achieve financial success, how to get in shape, and how to get those girls, and how to be what I would call a bulldog, to have that bulldog mindset. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to answer an email from Florin. He says, "Hello, John. In the latest Entrepreneur's podcast, you talk about how you focus only on business in your free time while you had a day job. You said you weren't watching movies or going out or seeing friends. I find this hard to believe, since before that you said you can only get 6 hours of focus work per day. Can you tell me how an average day was structured during that time? Did you work 12 hours a day on weekends? Did you not do anything that could be classified as leisure? For me, it's kind of hard to believe this statement. I'm eagerly awaiting your response." Wow. Shun the non-believer. Man, your belief is, your lack of belief is disturbing. So I'm going to start with the idea that, like you said, you didn't watch movies or go out to see friends, and that you didn't do anything that could be classified as leisure. I did not. I went through the grind period for a good 2 years while I was holding down a job and doing Pluralsight courses on the side, building up my side business, building up Simple Programmer, and I did not go out. I didn't go out with friends. I didn't watch movies. I didn't watch TV. I didn't play video games. All I did was fucking work and work out. That's it. I ate, slept, worked, and worked out. Nothing of leisure. Nothing. Okay? I know that's hard to believe. I know you might think that that's crazy, but I had a goal. I had a goal in mind. I didn't want to work for the man for the rest of my life. I wanted to be financially free. I wanted to be fucking wealthy and independent. I wanted to be able to live the kind of life that I do now, even though now I'm still working, but I'm making YouTube videos. It's all good. I'm helping you guys. So it is very true that you can only work about 6 hours. It's probably less, honestly, but if you're pushing it to the limit, about 6 hours of focused work per day. If you use the Pomodoro Technique, I've got a video on how I plan my week, by the way. We'll put a link in the cards and also in the description below. I say I'm going to do say 10 or 12 Pomodoro in a day, okay? And I plan out all my tasks and activities for that day, and I figure out how many Pomodoro they're going to take to do, all right? And that's how I measure, and I set my quota for what I'm going to get done in a day. And so if I'm doing 12 Pomodoro a day, okay, which is a pretty heavy load, okay, 8 is probably more reasonable for most people, or 10. But let's say I'm doing 12, that's 6 hours of work. It's a little bit less than 6 hours of work, right? Because each Pomodoro is 25 minutes, okay? But it's highly focused work. Now, that doesn't mean that's all the work that I do in a day. Okay, it does sometimes when I'm just working on focused work. And I think if you just do 6 hours of focused work per day, you're going to get really far in life. Okay, but when you have a regular job and you're doing other stuff, or you're really in that grind and hustle mode, going through that grind period, you need to work more. Okay, and that's what I did, right? So when I was going through that period of time, I would spend about probably, honestly, like 10 Pomodoro, which is 5 hours of focused work, focused. Okay. The rest of the time, I was still working 12, 14-hour days. When I was still building up my business, when I was working on Pluralsight courses, even after I quit my job, okay, now I was first on my own, and I was building Simple Programmer, and I was building up my Pluralsight in my real estate business and all that stuff, I was working probably about, honestly, probably 12 to 14 hours a day, a lot of days, okay? Pretty much almost every day, honestly, okay? And I was only spending about 6 hours of that time in very focused work. But there's a lot of other stuff you can do that's not really focused work. That's the answer to this, right? It doesn't mean that you can just do 6 hours worth of work, but if you can and you can do it focused, that's probably enough for most people. But sometimes you might need to do more, okay? And so if you look at it, like my day, let's say that I worked a 12-hour day. I might have 6 hours of focused work, but I might have 6 hours of brainless work, right? Answering emails, okay? Have to do that to keep up with the business. All right, to some degree, I could record YouTube videos without that being focused work, okay? I couldn't write a blog post, right? Maybe I could do calls, meetings, right? Skype calls, like some coaching that I could do. Again, it doesn't have to be super focused work. At least it doesn't, I don't put it in that same bucket because it's not as mentally taxing, right? So find the things that you can do that you need to do in the business, right? Making, all kinds of little tasks that you're going to have that are going to be, delegation tasks and things like that you can still do. Even when I was doing the Pluralsight courses, creating the course, like thinking about the content and whatnot, and planning out the schedule and writing the scripts and stuff, that was all like focus work. But actually just recording it, that's brainless. I'd like to actually just sit in the camera and just read the script. That's brainless work. It doesn't require focus. It doesn't require that, that mental capacity. Especially editing was another thing. When I was editing my own videos, I'd go through and I'd edit, and it's a brainless task. I could just kind of do that with my brain turned off. It doesn't require that amount of focus and that you do when you're counting those 6 hours of focus work. That's how it works. That's how I did it, and I was very successful by doing that. And it's really important, guys, that you have this grinding period, that you're willing to do this stuff, you're willing to make sacrifices, because anything great that you're going to achieve in life is going to require a great sacrifice. There is no way around this, okay? Some people try to make excuses. They try to figure out ways in which they can, enjoy their life and whatnot. And you've got plenty of time to enjoy your life. But the hustle mode, you cannot avoid that. You're going to have to grind it out for at least 2-3 years to become successful so that you can enjoy the rest of your life, rather than, just barely scraping by and trying to create a balance in your life for, a decade or more, and then not really getting where you want to go in life. If you start doing that and you start doing the Pomodoro Technique, and you just put in 12 Pomodoro per day, you're going to be like 3 times more productive than you are right now. I promise you, I guarantee you that that'll be the case. That's probably a good place to start. Okay. And if you just did that, I think you'd be fine, right? This is something that I've learned, since then. If I were to go back in time, and I would still probably have to do the same thing, because I had to get all that work done in order to, to be able to reach the goals that I wanted to. But I would have put more emphasis on the idea of front loading that 6 hours of focus work and seeing how far I could get with that in a particular day. All right, guys, I'll talk to you next time. Take care.